Oh, what's going on, Rip City? This is the Scorchin Trails podcast with Steven Vaughan and Torey Jones. Torey, I think the Blazers are officially cursed. I don't know that for a fact, but I feel like they're really cursed with all these injuries and everything going on. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Did you see my video title from earlier today?
I did, but
Okay.
I didn't say that because of that. I've been saying that all the time on 750 The Game the last 2 days. So we're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah,
I
100%.
know we argue a lot in here, but I feel like we're on the exact same page on this.
I mean, it's basically inarguable at this point. So for anybody listening that didn't see the video I dropped a video, and the title was literally "The Portland Trail Blazers are cursed." Cursed in all caps, 3 exclamation points, because it's very, very bad right now. It's you got Brogdon hurt, you got Scoot hurt, you got Ant hurt, you got Robert Williams III out for the season. But maybe we found his replacement. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Who could that be? We'll see. Looking forward to that. But nah, man, been good. It was a kind of a chill day for me today, so I kind of just relaxed, and now I get to talk basketball with you.
That is quite the tease, I tell you what.
Yeah.
Who could it be? All right, let's talk about. I want to talk about Scoot first. Actually,
Yeah.
we were going to talk about release. I'll talk about Scoot first. Shams, is it Shams or Shams? It's Shams, right?
Shams Charania, I think.
I thought it was Shams. Shams Charania.
I think it's Shams Charania. No, it's Shams Charania.
Is it? I don't know.
I used to say Woj, like Waj, for like the first 2 years I did YouTube. So don't feel bad.
Shams. I'm gonna still go Shams. Shams Charania. He came out with a little like 20-second video saying Scoot gonna be out for probably about 2 weeks or so with that ankle injury. I will say this. I was shocked when I heard that because I had heard through the grapevine that the game that Scoot hurt his ankle, he was seen after the game walking on it perfectly fine and like no cast, no crutches, no nothing. Like it didn't look like it was that big of a deal. So when I heard that he was out for 2 weeks, it was a little shocking. Like I thought he'd be back soon, but I have no reason not to believe that he's hurt. So it's way too early to be tanking. So there's no reason to fake any injuries. So Scoot with the bone bruise, man, it just sucks because Brogdon gets hurt, Ant's been hurt, and now Scoot's hurt. Is like all that guard depth that the Blazers had is just it's gone for now. But Scoot, he's struggled so far this year, Torey, but he's had some moments. But you just love to see him get more PT. Like it's kind of like with Shane Sharp last year. You just wanted to get him reps. So with Scoot, you just wanted to see him get some reps, and now he's out for 2 more weeks. Man, it just sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal. Because that's the one exciting thing. If we're going to be losing games, is just seeing if he can progress, if he can develop. That's kind of the main storyline for the rest of the year, in my opinion. And that was the main storyline going into this year. I said, like, developing Scoot, developing Sharp, developing Ant a little bit more is going to be the most important thing out of this season. And it's hard to develop guys when they're not freaking playing. So you got 2 of those 3 guys out. Luckily, we've seen Sharp develop. We've seen Sharp have some big moments, but it's also getting frustrating because he's not shooting enough. Like, I feel like he needs to be shooting more. He's not getting enough shots. But as far as Scoot goes, man, just very frustrating for him to deal with this, I'm sure. Especially because he was starting to play well. He was starting to find a little bit of a groove, starting to show some of the flashes we were expecting going into the season. So, hopefully he can come back and hit the ground running and kind of pick up where he left off, because I felt like he was going to start playing some solid basketball right before he got hurt. And it was just weird because you saw him warming up recently before a recent game and he looked fine. So it's a bone bruise. Like, I've never dealt with one of those. Actually, maybe I'm dealing with one of those right now, and I don't know because the ankle I sprained 2 months ago still is not 100%. So, who knows? Maybe that is, but I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk for like a week without a boot and without crutches for the first couple of days. So, he was walking after, and he greeted the team outside of the locker room in the game where he sprained that ankle. Just very strange, man. It's like every injury situation for the Portland Trail Blazers has to have some element of strangeness to it, right? Because you had the GP 2 weeks saga. You got this Scoot thing, which is kind of weird. It's just if something can go wrong with a rehabilitation process, it seems to go wrong with this team. And it's like, I don't want to sit here necessarily blaming anyone because I don't really know how that all works. Like, I'm not in the medical field, right? I freaking talk about basketball on a podcast with you. I'm not a doctor, but at some point you have to look at just the repeated bad luck for this team and wonder why. Like, is it truly just we're cursed? Like, what did we do to deserve this? Because at this point, man, it's just another season. We're early on in the season. It feels like it's going down the drain. Despite expectations not being high, we still haven't seen this team at full strength hardly at all outside of game one. So we still didn't even know what this team was going to be because we didn't even get that opportunity. So very frustrating.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And it's like you said, you saw him warming up. He looked okay, and it's like I had heard like it didn't seem like it was too serious. So the 2-week thing was a little shocking to me, but obviously I believe it. So it's just it's unfortunate. You wanted to see Scoot out there, just like you want to see all those guys out there. But now that Scoot's out, I do want to talk about Shaedon Sharpe because you talk about him, getting more shots. That Sacramento game, there were some things that a 20-year-old like Shaedon Sharpe, he showed that I was like, man, I wanted to see a little more out of him. And it was a couple times where stuff didn't go his way, and it affected the next play. And you saw that especially late in the fourth quarter. And then he had a chance where he had a chance to take an open shot. He did not take it. He passed it up. And then it didn't work out. And it was just, it's one of those things. It's like, those are the learning experiences you're going to have with Shaedon Sharpe, and you love it. You love how good he is, and you love all the stuff he does. But there's just a couple of plays, man, where it's like you could tell in his eyes, and he was so frustrated with how things were going that it affected him on that next play. So it's just one of those growing pains with Shaedon Sharpe. But man, I think right now he's proving to be the go-to guy in the team, as long as Skylar Mays doesn't go off like he always does. But Shaedon, man, he's it's going to be tough when Ant comes back, when Scoots come back, when Brogdon comes back. They were already log jammed there. Luckily, they were log jammed. Now they even have Skylar Mays they can play, but they have so many guards and so little minutes, man. I'm really interested to see what Chauncey does with that rotation. And Shaedon Sharpe. What did you notice that at all? Like against Sacramento, how it wasn't that he was pouting, but it was just kind of like he got down on himself, and then it affected him in the next couple plays. And then he got the foul. Then he fouled out, and it was just like you could tell he was done. Like he was over with the game.
I've noticed stretches like that are like at the beginning of games, so I don't even know necessarily if it's him getting down on himself, more so just like he has a tendency to have stretches where he seems to not be 100% mentally checked in. And we saw a lot of stretches like that last year, especially on the defensive end, where he just falls asleep off ball offensively, not cut, like just kind of float around the 3-point line, not really look for the ball. And luckily he's cut down on those, but he hasn't completely eliminated those stretches from his game. There's been a couple of games where he's had a good stat line at the end of the game, so nobody remembers it, but like in the first quarter, he's not aggressively looking for the ball, like defensively would fall asleep, and it's like, oh man, this is one of those stretches. And then second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, tears it up, and everybody's talking about how great of a game he had. So it's basically at the point where it's like, man, if he could just kind of be able to remain engaged in the game, remain aggressive throughout the game, how good could he really be? Because I think that's the main thing holding him back, is just he has this tendency for whatever reason to mentally check out of games a little bit for a stretch. So seen it at the end of games, seen it at the start of games, don't know why. It's probably just a 20-year-old thing. Like, he's still very young, so it's not something that I'm necessarily worried about. It's just like, man, you definitely want to see those continue to improve because they have, but it's definitely still there.
Yeah, no doubt. A couple takeaways for the Kings game also I want to talk about real quick with you. I loved the defense at the end of the game when Toumani Camara, they switched to basically have him go one-on-one and guard the ball. I loved that, and that's when Shaedon Sharpe got that 6th foul, right, on the blocking foul. Toumani played great defense, but the way that the defense was set up, it was for Toumani to guard the ball, and it was really impressive to see how he guarded Malik Monk on that play. Did a great job. So yeah, I was happy about that. Toumani's been really good. You gotta hope that his offense continues to grow, because there's just times when, and you saw it in that Sacramento game, Torey, where You had Tumani Kamara on the floor. You had Skylar Mays on the floor. You had Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton, and who else am I missing? Matisse Thybulle on the court. And it was just like, well, Thybulle and Kamara can't really do much. And then even, Skylar Mays, he had that run, but it's like they weren't respecting him. It was basically Ayton with his little floaters and mid-range jumpers, and then Jeremy Grant going one-on-one. And that was all. That was all the Blazers had. And it's just like, man, if Tumani could develop some type of game where, he can knock down a three or, get a pass, drive, and then finish at the hoop. He had a couple where he tried to go, and then he ended up just posting up and then going nowhere with it. It's just, those are the type of things that you want to see Tumani Kamara get better at. And it's just, obviously it's not there yet, and he's so young, but he's so good. But like, it's just, man, it was just, it was tough, man. I wanted to see someone step up, but like, that's where the Blazers are going to have problems, especially with Ant out, especially with even like Scoot out or Brogdon out. It's just the ancillary pieces, right? Like the ancillary pieces that come playing off of Shaedon Sharpe, playing off of Jeremy Grant. It was just, man, I wanted Tumani. I thought it was going to happen, Torey. I thought it was going to be the Tumani Kamara breakout offensive performance. Like he's just going to hit like 2 threes in a row. He's going to drive, get a dunk or something. It didn't happen, man. It was sad, but the Blazers played hard that game, I thought, against the Kings. I thought they played pretty well.
Yeah. It was nice that we saw some of it during Summer League. Like, we know that for at least a stretch, he can knock down shots. That was kind of the knock on him throughout college, but he improved behind the three-point line, got it up to 36%, which was his best year, his senior year from three. But it's not consistent. Like, he's struggled to shoot the three ball this season. His form is fine, though. I have no issues with the way he shoots the ball. It looks like he shoots it the same way every time. So I do have hope that he can find some sort of consistency from the NBA three-point arc. And that's the thing for a lot of rookies. The game moves so fast, like they don't feel comfortable shooting threes because just everything's kind of a blur. So it's hard to kind of lock in and shoot the ball. So as he continues to get more reps, and luckily he's playing a ton of minutes right now, as he continues to get those reps, I think he'll knock down more shots. He'll be a little bit more efficient. I do think some things need to be cleaned up with how he tries to finish around the rim, where a lot of times he'll like lean back and shoot shots at weird angles where maybe he doesn't need to because he's freaking athletic and he's long. So he has to learn how to just attack strong and maybe draw fouls off the dribble. And I think he will at some point in his career and be a really good role player for it, and this is a great opportunity for him, especially with some of the guys down, to maybe grow a little bit into some of that offensive responsibility in lineups that don't have much shot creation out there and need somebody to do something, because basically assuming Brogdon is going to miss games, when Skylar Mays is out of the game, you got Sharpe basically as your point guard, and who else, and when Sharpe's out of the game, you got Skylar Mays and Jeremy Grant probably. Like you need somebody to step up offensively, and it's not going to be Jabari Walker, I don't think. It's not going to be Matisse Thybulle. It's an opportunity for Tumani to continue to get those reps, continue to let the game slow down for him, hopefully find some confidence and consistency from the three-point arc, and then he has the freedom to attack, because our offense has been the worst offense in the league, and it's not going to get better losing the guys that we've lost. So at that point, you might as well be aggressive, because the alternative is not great offense anyway. So it's a great growing opportunity for him.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's like, if he can knock down a couple threes, it's just going to open up so much for him, because he's shown the ability to dribble and make a play. And so it's like he just has to knock down like 2 in a row and get that respect. Like, just right now, they just don't respect it. And they could just sag everybody in. And I mean, against the Kings, Jeremy Grant was just awesome. And it was just finishing everything. And it's just like, it was so open for it, but it just didn't work out. It was unfortunate. It was a fun game, though, I will say. I had fun watching it. I've had a lot of fun watching this Blazer team. What about you?
Yeah, it'd be more fun if they were healthy, and it'd be more fun if the offense has been frustrating me for the most part. It's fun to watch a team play as hard as they do. Like, I haven't once on a post-game show had to complain about effort, which in the past,
the defense has been good.
Yeah, in the past, it's been the defense is awful and the effort is inconsistent, so it's kind of nice not to have to complain as much about that sort of stuff. It's just a completely different problem this year. It's new. It's a new set of issues, and it's the lack of three-point shooting and some of the offense. But, like, the Kings game was fun despite the loss. There's frustrating moments in that game, like there is in pretty much every game. I thought the refs in overtime were pretty dang bad. And it kind of screwed the Blazers. Like, there's a couple different plays where I was baffled as to how Sacramento didn't get called for a foul, but in general, just the defense, the hustle is fun. I think they could be more fun if they would run more. For whatever reason, they haven't really run much this year, and they're a young, athletic team. Like, this team should be running in transition, running, gunning, forcing some turnovers. I think
don't you think that's because they don't really have a point guard?
I mean, maybe, but that's the thing is teams that are good at running don't always have to get it to their point guard, because a lot of times on an outlet pass, that'll take time. Like, if you're a run and gun team, you just want to outlet it to the closest ball handler. I mean, Jeremy can dribble the ball up the floor and push the pace. Shoot, we saw him snatch a contested rebound and then push the pace in transition and throw a lob to Ayton. Now, that was like a rare play, but I would like to see him try to do that more. You know, at times there's going to be some bad moments, but like, at least try and get out and run a little bit more. Like, that was a point of emphasis for Chauncey before the season, and it's just baffling me. Like, if you got Skylar Mays out there, Shaden Sharp, Jeremy Grant, like, those three can bring the ball up the court, outlet it to one of them, and go. You know, you bring even Tamani into the game, and I want to see him handle the ball in the open court. Like, just try and get to the rim. He can move. And these are NBA players. Like, they can dribble in a straight line. So it could be a little bit due to the personnel at this point. But even when they had more guard play, they still weren't running. So I don't think it's necessarily just due to that. I just think for whatever reason, I don't really have an answer for it. They just don't do it. And I thought it maybe was it. A lot of times they've played a conservative defense this year. So you're not going to force many turnovers, and you're going to be kind of drop back under the rim more. But they played more aggressively defensively in that Sacramento game. They forced Sacramento into 21 turnovers, and I believe they only had 9 fast break points. So I don't know what the answer is for that, but that's really what I want to see, because that would make this team really fun if you're playing in transition and throwing lobs to Sharp, Ayton, Grant. So hopefully we get to see more of that.
Yeah, and the fact that the half-court offense has been brutal, like, you know, try to get easy bucket or something. I just like watching them give effort on defense. Like, you know, they've been good defensively, and they're moving around, and you watch the rotations, like, they're getting out on people. Even when there's some jump shots that are made, they are flying around. Against Memphis in that second game that they lost, they played really good defense, I thought, in the second half numerous times, where they were flying around in the third quarter. Fourth quarter is a little different story. They got some open shots, but in the third quarter, they were flying around. They were getting contest on the Memphis shooters, and they were just making shots. But it's like, in the past, the Blazers weren't even rotating. Like, they weren't even getting out on guys. Yeah. So it's just a different thing to see. And then it's like, you look at the half-court offense like you're talking about. You look at Brogdon. Like, his usage is crazy, and his efficiency is not good. And same with Jeremy Grant. His usage is off the charts. His efficiency down on the bottom of the charts. Like, Shaden Sharp's the only one that's like above average in both, you know, usage and the efficiency part with it. But like, they just don't have guys right now that can really create. And, you know I'm always hard on Ant, but he definitely would help in this situation. Okay.
Yeah. Do you have a problem, real quick? Do you have a problem with the structure of the offense right now? Because to me, it feels like everything's being ran the same way it was ran last year when they had Dame, but they don't got Dame anymore. So I'm kind of curious as to what your thoughts are, just maybe some of the sets, some of the stagnation, like some of the offensive structure right now.
Yeah, like, even in that Sacramento game, it turned out where it was just going to be, hey, Jeremy Grant, bail us out. Like, there was nothing, no type of movement, no nothing, and it worked for a stretch. Skylar Mays made some nice floaters in the paint. Like, it was basically Skylar Mays, you're going to go pick and roll, and you're going to score. And then once that didn't work, then it was, hey, Jeremy Grant, you're going to go ISO, and you're going to go pick and roll. And he got a couple to Ayton. He got a couple inside, got a couple and ones. But, like, that's just not good offense, because those guys aren't going to do it consistently. So, like, you would love to see, you know, Jeremy Grant, you know, how about set a back screen and get Jeremy Grant, you know, closer to the block and have him post up, since he wants to shoot mid-range jumpers. Like, don't just make it so it's an isolation on the outside and he has to dribble, go between his legs, and fall on the ground and lose the ball. Like, just get him closer to the hoop, and, you know, it's just set an off-ball screen, set a screen. Like, we're working that with my oldest child. Like, he's on his competitive team, and he doesn't really understand yet, like, how to, like, set screens. Like, watch this play. And we were watching the what NBA game were we watching? I forget what we were watching, but it was just like pick and roll, off ball screen, wide open shot, make it. And it happened like 5 in a row. And it's like, why don't the Blazers do that? The Blazers never do this. I was watching, you know, the Indiana game. The Pacers offense is great. Like, they are just spread out, setting screens. And yeah, I mean, so I'm not a fan of the Chauncey Billups offense. I don't know how you could be. It does seem like it seems like it's because, back when he played, that's what it kind of was. It was just like, hey, isolate, ISO ball. And I feel like that's what he wants to do with this team. And just, they don't have the dudes, and it's not the most efficient offense anyways.
I think that's why a lot of coaches that played in that era that Chauncey did have struggled because the game has changed so much, but maybe they weren't around for it. And what they know is something completely different than what works now. Because we've seen a lot of guys just be awful head coaches, like Steve Nash, Derek Fisher, Chauncey Billups, guys that are smart basketball minds. But
even Jason Kidd failed for a second, and then he kind of adjusted a little bit.
He needed years to figure it out. Years. He was awful when he started.
And now he has Luka Doncic and Kyrie, which makes it a little easier too.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, and those are all like smart NBA point guard types that seem like they'd be great as coaches. So I think there's something to that, just given how much the game has changed, and these guys haven't really kept up with the change of the game. But the thing is with Chauncey is like he says he wants to move the ball. He says he wants to play fast and attack the rim and this and that. Like, he says all the right things, but then we haven't seen it in action. And before the season, it was like, well, that's because, everything's centered around Dame, and Dame wants to slow the ball up and run pick and roll and wants the ball in his hands. And, basically it's like, this is the Dame offense, right? This isn't the Chauncey offense, it's Dame's offense. Well, Dame's gone, and in the media day, their messaging was basically, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but it was essentially Chauncey has his guys now, and they're going to be able to play the style of offense that they want to play. But it's looked exactly the same. So at this point, I'm just like, well, it's not Dame's offense anymore because Dame is gone. It still looks exactly the same as last year. Instead of Dame ISO or Dame pick and rolls, like at this point, now we get Skylar Mays pick and rolls and Jeremy Grant ISOs. So that's the thing that's frustrating me. I'm kind of out on Chauncey for that reason. It's just, I understand that they don't have like star level talent, but that's even more of a reason to play team ball. Because you don't have that guy like a Dame to just carry your offense and give him the ball to. So it's actually not an excuse for me, the guys they have. Like, you can tell when a team's trying to move the ball and maybe failing to execute or setting screens and just moving offensively. Like, all these guys are NBA players. They can run. They can pass the ball and screen away. That's basic stuff at an elementary level. You learn that in elementary school, middle school, the youngest levels of AAU. You learn that stuff. That's basic basketball, man. So all these players are capable of moving offensively, of running sets, of setting off ball screens, and it's just like you watch any other team and it feels like we are a lot of times the most stagnant team in the league. So I am a bit frustrated. That's where it's like it has been fun to watch this team, but watching the offense in the half court has just been brutal. It'd be fine if they were missing shots, but getting good shots because of the way they're moving the ball, moving players. But it's just kind of the same thing we've complained about for years, and now it's even less of an excuse because we don't have Dame to carry it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, look, I'm still going to give Chauncey the benefit of the doubt. The first couple of years, Chauncey, it was hard to coach because they weren't trying to win. They are not even trying to win, I don't think, this year, but they're trying to develop. So I'm with you. I want to see more. It is frustrating. The Blazers have, 3 or 4 days off between games. Like, they don't play till Sunday. The last played on Wednesday, and they don't play Sunday. So, if stuff's going to change, we'll see what what their game plan is in LA, because you know what? I don't know if Brogdon's playing, but Scoot's not playing, Ant's not playing, Rob Williams not playing. He's had time. He has time. He knows who's playing. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in the Kings game. When Brogdon goes down, it's hard to adjust on the fly. When Shaedon Sharp goes down, and ball handler, all right, well, it's hard to adjust on the fly, especially with those guys they have. So I'm with you. I want to see something in the LA game that hopefully says, all right, well, we put some game plan in and we took some strategy and we're going to adjust, because what they've done has not worked. So I'm with you 100% on that. Robert Williams, he's out for the season. Yeah. First of all, does that make it you think that's a better chance that Robert Williams is on the roster next season?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that a positive? Is that a positive?
You can't trust him to stay healthy, so how can it be a positive? He's
a good player when he plays.
Yeah, but he's
like I
not a good
want
player when he
players on the
doesn't
team.
play. And more often than not, Steven, he doesn't play. This is why I wanted to trade him before the season when they could have cashed in on value for him. And people were like, why wouldn't you want Robert Williams? Like, this is the type of center we need. And it's like, if he was healthy, he'd be the best backup center in the league. Like, when he plays, I think you make the case he's the best backup center in the league because he's phenomenal. But the problem I have with him is a lot of his good defense is based on his athleticism. Knee injuries stack up in that regard and zap that. And also, his track record of health is not good. And knowing us and how often we get screwed because we're cursed regarding player injuries, like I just wanted to move him for draft picks, especially when we're not going to win anything this year, so that in the future we can have that draft capital and we can build a winner 3 years from now when we might actually be, you know, a playoff team, or if we're really lucky, contending, right? So that's why I wanted to trade him before the season. I got some backlash for it, and it's just like, this is what I was worried of. You know, I was hopeful he'd be able to stay healthy, but it's just at some point, and this is something I say with a number of different things, like at some point you just have to trust the status quo until it changes. And the status quo with him was that he's going to deal with knee injuries. He's going to get hurt. If he had a healthy season this year and the status quo changed, great, but you can't put your trust in that. And then he gets hurt on a play where it wasn't even like that, didn't even look like that bad of a play. And it's his other knee. It's not even the bad knee that he dealt with in Boston. It's his other knee on a play that didn't even look that bad, and he's out for the season. Like, it sucks. You know, I feel terrible for him. It's brutal. Like, injuries have absolutely zapped his career, and it's just like now the Blazers, I mean, they're not going to be able to trade him at the deadline for anything of value. So yeah, he's back on the team next year, and we'll see if he can stay healthy next year.
Yeah, and I'll answer that question with he probably will not stay healthy next season. But I'm opposite of you. Like, I'm fine with it because I love him. I love his game. I love when he plays. So I'm okay with Robert Williams being on the roster. Like, you know, it sucks that he's hurt, and it sucks that that's the way he's going to stay on the roster. Probably is because he's hurt. But like, you know, as a Blazer fan, like that's going to make the Blazers roster better next season when they go into training camp. Like, if you continue to have DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams as your centers, it's a good center combo.
Yeah,
is it not?
Here's why I disagree. Like, I think if you could have gotten 2 first-round picks back for him, maybe they could have only gotten one good one.
You couldn't have gotten two first for him.
Depending on the quality of the first.
Teams know the health.
Depending on the quality of the first. You could have gotten back more than you were going to be able to get back for him. And if he's barely playing for this team while they're not even, like, contending or making noise in the playoffs, then what is he serving? What purpose is he serving on this roster if he's hurt for the rest of this year, only played 7 games, and then you can't trust him to be healthy next year, and he's not even the starter, he's a backup to a dude you're paying a max contract for, and the alternative is you could have gotten draft pick value where maybe you could have combined it all in the future for a really, really good forward that could have fit next to Ayton and fit next to Scoot and fit next to Sharp. I just, that path made so much more sense to me than just like rolling the dice with a backup right now who's very injury prone. I didn't get the calculation, you know?
I agree with you. I think you are making it sound a little too easy to be like, oh, they could just trade Robert Williams for all this draft capital and a good forward, or a good forward and, you know, some draft. Like, I think it's hard to get that guy. Like, you talk about a really good forward that fit next to DeAndre, and everybody needs that guy. Every team needs that player. Like, it's not like they're out there all the time. You have to really get those guys, and they're not going to trade them for an often injured backup center. Like, I don't know. I think you're making
that's why you need a bunch of draft capital in the future so that you can be in play.
Right. So, but he's already an often injured center, so like you're not going to get 2 first-round picks for him. So what's the cap?
I think there's a chance they could
first-round pick.
I think they definitely could have gotten.
Of course,
there's
a chance they could have. What percentage? A 5% chance? You really think they were going to get 2 firsts for
Here's
him?
the thing: teams that are winning, I think, would have taken the chance, right? Especially if they have a lot of first-round picks. The team that I loved for him was OKC. Because I thought him next to Chet is a match made in heaven on both ends of the floor. Like, just absolutely perfect fit with those two guys. Because Chet can play on the perimeter, can space the floor. Robert Williams can play on the interior. Both of them can guard the 4 or the 5 switch, block shots. Like, and OKC has a bunch of first-round picks. you're probably not getting 2 good first-round picks, but you're probably able to get 2 first-round picks at least as good as maybe the Golden State first that the Blazers got in that Celtics trade. And it's like, okay, if Robert Williams isn't really worth all that much, then was the Drew Holiday trade as great as everybody said it was? I don't know.
Remains to be seen. I don't know. I find it would be hard to get 2 first-round, but I might be wrong.
I mean, I'm just speculating, so I don't know. Yeah. But he's a really good defensive big.
It's so easy to just be like, oh, they could get this and this and this and this for him. Like, it's just easy to say that because it make your argument sound good. Like, I'm pushing back a little bit on Torey.
Just like the doesn't make players better argument. No, I feel you on that. Yeah, I mean, it is easy to say. There was rumors that there was teams interested in him, so I'm kind of trying to go based off that.
There was definite interest in him.
I think I saw OKC is one of the teams interested with him. So is 2 bad first better than 1 good first? Because everybody uses it like 1 first or 2 first or 3 first.
But you guys use this argument against me for Danny Ainge. Like, why would Sam Presti be like, yeah, I'm going to give you 2 first-round picks for an injured center, like an often injured center? Like, he's not going to do that.
Because they got 20.
Yeah, because he cherishes draft picks. He's not gonna spend it for Robert Williams.
Yeah, but they've been rebuilding. They're good now. They're a playoff team now. So it changes.
That. But they're not going to do it for Robert Williams. Like, Robert Williams isn't the guy to do it for.
I think if you're just looking at on-court fit and what they need, I think Robert Williams was absolutely perfect for him. So that's where my speculation comes in. I would have loved to see him next to Chet. Yeah. So
you just love anybody next to Chet.
Well, who's the ideal big man fit next to Chet? Like, what's the ideal skill set in a big man next to Chet?
Well, I mean, you need a guy that could like bang around a little bit, right, and be like the bruiser. Mm-hmm. But you also don't want a guy that's just like clog up everything because Chet's such a good, off-ball defender, like a rim protector. So you don't want like some guy clogging everybody up in there. I don't know. Robert Williams is up there.
I would like a big that can feed Chet a little bit, and Robert Williams is an underrated passer. I would like a big that, like Chet, if he drives and the big man helps up, he can throw a lob to. Robert Williams is a good lob target. Like, yeah, I mean, when I speculate on like what teams could get, I try and think about it from the other team's point of view, because here's the problem with fans when they come up with trades. It's always like, what looks good for the Portland Trailblazers? Like, what would be fun? What would be good for the Blazers? You always got to approach trying to think about trades from the other team's point of view first, and then try and come to something that you like for them that you'd also be okay with as a Blazer fan, because it's easy to sit here and say, yeah, Blazers just trade Robert Williams for 2-3 firsts, right? Like I guess I was doing, but I try and think about it from, okay, what team would want Robert Williams? OKC, they got a bunch of firsts. He'd be a perfect fit. Like, they can take that gamble, take that risk. If it doesn't pay off, they still got $1 million first. So that's basically just kind of like the logical process there. So who knows? Who knows? But definitely would have liked to see what they could have gotten back for him, considering he's now out for the year.
Did you hear that, everybody? I'm the one that everyone said was mean because of my tweet about Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons. You're the one that called out the entire fan base. That's what you did. You called them out. You said this is what fans do. You said
I called
fans
out
do this when they do trades.
The few fans that post terrible trade machines that piss off whole fan bases.
You're walking it back. You're doing the Homer Simpson.
You're twisting my words.
That's what everyone did to me too. I'm messing with you, Torey. That's pretty funny though.
Do you want to go into? I was gonna play it easy. I was gonna take it easy on you and not go in on your tweet.
Oh, I don't even care. I stand by my tweet. It was just people didn't.
Do you want to read your tweet?
Yeah, I can pull it up here.
Yeah, let's hear the tweet.
It's because people don't know me. People don't get it. People don't get me.
I know you, and I didn't get it.
Oh man!
Like it was maybe my least favorite tweet you've ever made. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. I said the best thing that happened to the Blazers was to have Scoot and Ant get hurt. That way they start the best backcourt possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so think about it this way. The best thing that happened to the Blazers is winning basketball games. right? Like that would be the best thing for the Blazers to win basketball games.
That backcourt lost to a winless
You're
team.
watching the Blazers, and it's like, oh, hey, the Blazers, yeah, we're winning. This is fun. That's what I'm talking about. I want the Blazers to win. I'm more of a fan now than I think I have been in years. Like
How does Scoot and Ant getting hurt help the team win?
Because Brogdon and Shaedon Sharpe have to play like 40 minutes, and they're the best backcourt. Brogdon better than Scoot. Sharpe better than
the best
Ant.
backcourt involves having all of them healthy. Number one. Number two, the best backcourt is Ant and Sharpe.
Okay, but that's not the question. The question
was
point guard. Who's better, Scoot or Malcolm Brogdon? The answer is Malcolm Brogdon. My whole tweet was saying Shaedon Sharpe better than Anthony Simons. Don't at me.
See, if you had a tweet that said Shaedon Sharpe's better than Anthony Simons, then people would argue with it, but it makes sense. It was the making it sound like it was a good thing those guys got hurt, which, you know,
yeah, like, okay, people, I'm not rooting for injuries. God, I know I'm a jerk, and I have no heart, but I'm not rooting for injuries. It's just
I know you, and I know like you wouldn't. It was just the wording, you know.
No, it's fine. Even my wife was like, "Nah, that was kind of a weird tweet."
Yeah, so
she's like,
you know,
I know. She's like, you're my best friend. I know you, and that was still kind of a weird tweet. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, so this is just payback for all the times you bring up one of my tweets, like, what the hell were you talking about, right? So I was like, this is my opportunity, because it made no sense on like five different fronts.
All the listeners now, Torey, you called them out for bad trade offers.
Well, comment section, who are you more mad at, Steven for his tweet or me for talking about the awful trade machine ideas?
Okay, well,
let
that's
me know
unfair,
in the comment section.
This is literally on your channel. This is the Torey Jones Blazer channel. Like, yeah, I'm gonna win that one. Okay. Speaking of trades, though, maybe the Blazers have to trade for a backup big, or maybe they don't. I'm going to go with the latter. They don't have to. They have the answer. He's on the Rip City remix. Duop Reath. Torey, did you see what he did in game 1 of the Rip City remix? Talk about it, bro.
Bro, so I was making a tweet about his stat line like so far during the course of the game, right? And I think at that point he had played like 25 minutes, had 33 points, was 13 for 18 from the field, right? While I'm making the tweet, he scores 2 more buckets in like 40 seconds. I keep having to update the tweet before I can post it. His final stat line, 27 minutes, 37 points, 10 rebounds, 15 for 20 from the field. This dude was 5 for 6 from 3. And I know what people say, oh, it's G League. It's G League. It's very far away from the NBA level, right? Look at Scoot. He dominated the G League, and, now look at him in the NBA. But what does Portland need right now? They need offense and they need shooting. Desperately. In the past, Duop Reath would have made no sense for this Blazer team that was desperate for defense as a backup center. Okay? Now, when we're desperate for shooting and desperate for offense, that dude can score the ball at the NBA level. Like in preseason, he had some impressive scoring performances. He can shoot. That's
why he beat out Baji. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, he can score the ball. Like defensively, he's going to be bad in the NBA. That's why he's not an NBA player. That's why he was playing for the remix, is because like defensively, he's not it. But we are more desperate for shooting and offense right now, especially with a lot of the guard creation we have out, that having a guy like Duop Reath that can pick and pop, drag the big out of the paint, as well as somebody you can give it to on the roll and they can, hit a floater. Like we saw him pull off a couple of little Euro steps in Summer League in preseason. Like, he's not going to go in there and average 20 a game, but to have a guy playing, 15 minutes off the bench when you're basically stuck with either Moses Brown or Jabari Walker as your backup center, like at this point, I just roll with Duop Reath and hope that his offense can help this team's offense, because that's where it needs the help.
Yeah, he at least can shoot the basketball and make a shot, where Moses Brown's just like, hey, can I get a dunk in? Which is fine. It's got its place in the league, but I mean, I expect one of these guys to be, and that's why they got the remix. That's why they got it so they can bring a guy up. And I will say this: people don't like it when I say this. Give Jody Allen a little credit. She actually, she got this thing going. Fun fact: Rip City Remix was not supposed to be here in 2023. It's supposed to be 2024, 2025. Jody pushed it through to 2023. She spent the extra money.
How much extra money is it?
No comment.
What are we talking about here?
Give Jody a little credit. I'm just saying she invested in the remix. That's all I'm saying.
Good job, Jody. We are the last team in the league to have a G League team. Yay.
And
We've been over for 6 years. We finally got a G League team. Yay, you spent the money on one.
And you've never spent money to surround the team with any good players. But they did the remix.
We'll spend money on the G League before we spend money on Dame. Yay.
I'm no Jody Allen fan. I'm just trying to be fair and give her credit where credit is due, Torey.
I'm being fair. I'm just, everything I'm saying is true, you know? So
That's true. You're spitting facts. But yeah, Duop Reath, I would expect him to be with the Blazers at some point here pretty soon, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so their G League game was in LA, and the Blazers play Sunday in LA. The Blazers are in LA right now. Shaedon Sharpe was at the game. There's
he was.
a picture going around Twitter right now with him with significant other potentially that looked a little annoyed to be there. I don't know. So Twitter's going wild with that one.
I mean, if you had to go watch the Rip City remix, wouldn't you be annoyed?
I mean, if you're going to date an NBA player and you can't sit through a 2-hour basketball game, you know what I mean? Like, then don't date an NBA player. You date somebody that literally lives basketball. You kind of got to live basketball a little yourself. And a lot of people would probably be willing to make that sacrifice if they don't like basketball to sit through a game or two for the other rewards that come with it.
I'm guessing Shaedon Sharpe's not dating her because she likes basketball. That's my guess.
Probably not.
Whatever.
But the question is she Kylie Jenner, and like, you know, the Kylie Jenner effect on Devin Booker seemed to be a real thing. Like, does she help Sharpe play better, or does she distract him? Like, you know, nah, just kidding. This isn't TMZ. We're not gonna get into that. Who cares? Like, but good for Sharpe, I guess.
I mean, what happened when you were playing? When you were talking to a girl, did that make you play better, or did you play worse? I don't know. I was always dating my wife. We were dating, so it's not like I was like, I mean, I was always trying to impress her, but like, I wasn't like trying to impress some baddie in the front row.
My worst game my senior year was when we played.
I also said baddie, and I don't really know what it means, so I hope I used it right. I'm an old man with kids, so.
You used it just fine.
Hell
you know?
yeah.
You know, I taught you that word before this recording.
You did. You said it.
So, yeah, but my worst game my senior year playing basketball was when we played against a traveling Australian team, and because we were playing an Australian team, like, every girl in the school showed up. So I guess I play worse.
You play worse, huh? So if Shaedon Sharpe starts struggling, we blame her?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's not Chauncey. It's not Chauncey not getting him in the right spots. It's not having a point guard. It's the girl, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you need a little extra motivation. So, you know, there were times where it probably helped me, but I'm more of the guy where, like, you need to piss me off. Then I'll play better.
Yeah.
If I'm pissed off, I'll play much better. So next, you know, if we play one-on-one again, just trash talk me a little bit, Steven, or I'll just invent things in my head that you said to me to piss me off at you, so then I'll play good. Like, that's what I really should have always been doing. Is who did that? Like Kevin Garnett or somebody. There's like some story about an NBA player that just invent things in their head that the opponent team said to him to piss himself off, and then he'd play
KG and Paul Pierce would do that.
Yeah, so
Russillo had a story about he was talking to Richard Jefferson, and Richard Jefferson said that. He said that those two dudes were like two of the worst guys ever, because they would just start like saying things to themselves and pretend that that's what people were saying about them. Whatever gets you going. That stuff doesn't get me going.
I love
it. I get my own head when people start talking trash. Like, I have to stay away usually.
Yeah, you and all your rec league fights, you had to retire because of
why I retired.
all the
two fights.
Problems. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can end it right here, but, you know, it's too bad with all the injury stuff, but I'll say the Blazers defense has been fun. Offense, very lacking, but hopefully it gets a little better. Do you think, Brogdon? I think Brogdon's probably going to be traded. He's playing too well, right? Like, now that Robert Williams is hurt, I think looking forward, like you talk about draft capital, which, you know, I was kind of saying I'm fine with keeping Robert Williams, but obviously they need more draft capital. I think with him hurt, doesn't it make it more likely also that Malcolm Brogdon would be moved by the deadline?
Yeah, and especially you get Ant Sharpe scoot back, like you got guards. It's not like you
and the way Sharpe's playing too.
Guard. Yeah, and also I still think Skylar Mays might be able to be like a lower end backup point in the league. Like, I still kind of believe in him, and he
How about that
really
step
good last
back,
game.
dude? How about that step back?
He thought he was Dame, bro.
He thought he had that.
It was in and out. I can't even complain about the shot that he shot when it goes in and out like that. You know, it would have been. Imagine we were sitting here talking about Skylar May's Dame sidestep game winner. Imagine how different the talk about the offense would be right now. We wouldn't be focusing on the way it looks. We'd be just raving about Skylar Mays.
And we've all that. Anybody that's played basketball has had that where they shoot and they're like, "That's in." Like he shot that, he thought that was dead in. Man, it was a good shot. It was fun. It was funny to watch. But yeah, dude, I wasn't ready for the Skylar Mays like clear out. I mean, it's honestly, we can talk about the offense real quick here again. That play that they ran out of bounds was terrible. It literally just ended up with Skylar Mays getting the ball with 7 seconds.
Yeah, it's you know how I was talking about how it looks the same as when Dame was here. It literally goes down to the last second shot going to the point guard and them shooting a sidestep to the right fadeaway contested three. And it being Skylar Mays and not Dame. Like, literally everything looks exactly the same.
It's like they tried to set a screen for Jeremy Grant. He like cut, didn't get it, and then they just moved out of the way. They threw it to Skylar Mays and cleared it out.
Have you
it's
noticed
like, or just get it to Jeremy Grant at that situation. Like, why is Skylar Mays taking it? Whatever.
Have you noticed that a lot of Chauncey sets are like one action and that's it?
Yeah, it is. And then it turns into just the default pick and roll at the default isolation.
Yep.
I have noticed that. It's very frustrating.
Very frustrating.
Come on, Chauncey. Do better.
Do something.
All right. Do something, man. Torey, you got anything else to add or anything? Did you guys a live watch party the other day I saw?
Yeah. I need to get you on one of those.
Well,
you know,
I watched a little bit of you doing it after the fact because I didn't know what it was. I like that it was just you doing play-by-play. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. I was just play-by-play and reacting like a fan would. You know, it's kind of a little mix of both. So if you don't get
look at you trying to be part of the real media. You got to go into play-by-play.
I'm just trying to do it all.
You guys doing another one of these times or what?
Yeah, so I wanted to do them every game this year, but I didn't want to run all of them. So, like, you know, we're not doing every single game because we had somebody basically kind of drop out of running it. That was doing a podcast with 503 with Noah. So, not every game, but like big games, definitely the in-season tournament game we will against the Jazz on Tuesday. So, yeah, it's fun. It's like it's kind of different. It's just hard to do that for like 2.5 hours than a post-game show for an hour and a half. That's like 4 hours straight on air, no breaks. It's definitely tough, but I've built up an endurance for it, you know, like.
Yeah, what do you do? What do you do when you guys stream for like 8 hours? Do you go to the bathroom and stuff on the stream?
Yeah, occasionally, but that's a lot of sitting around, so it's not like I'm constantly talking. And this year, I definitely want to, you know, have more people on so I don't have to carry the stream so much, you know, and it's a lot of sitting around waiting for trades, like the trade deadline streams, draft streams, free agency stuff, so.
I guess we could have wrapped it up. This is what me and Torey do before and after the podcast. Inside the podcast here.
There's times where we've talked before a podcast and it's like, dang, I kind of wish I just started recording and just throw it in and like that's our intro.
Yeah, basically I just ask what he does on YouTube and how he does it. That's about it. All right. Well, you got anything else to add then, Torey? You guys do anything special with Blazers Uprise or anything?
Not really. You know, we got games coming up starting Sunday. We got like 3 games in 4 days. So live watch parties, post-game shows, all the normal stuff. Started our Mojo sponsorship, so that's pretty fun. We'll have more information on that. I'm giving away a signed Anthony Simons jersey. Where's it? It's right here. Signed Anthony Simons jersey.
Am I eligible to win?
If you sign up with my Mojo link and enter a paid contest, you are. It would be hilarious if you won it.
You know what? I'm going to let someone else win it. You know what? I don't want to take it away from a true Ant fan. Although my son, his favorite player is Anthony Simons for what
you should still use my sponsorship because it's good for me. And Mojo's pretty cool. But yeah, I'll tell him if Steven Vaughan wins, he doesn't
redraw it. It's a redraw.
Yeah, sounds good.
Good, man. That's cool, man. Yeah, sign up there. Help Torey out a little bit. I guess this could have been another question off the air though, real quick. When are you going to start doing stuff with Symphony of the Game? Is that coming up soon or not?
Yeah, I think I'm going to announce it tomorrow, next day. Not sure. So we'll see.
Right, well, yeah, stay tuned for that. Me and Torey.
Yeah, everything's been sent to me. So yeah, there's some stuff coming up with that. Steven's going to be my coworker. I'm going to drive him crazy. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, so Torey will be a part of big media here pretty soon. He'll have the announcement for that. So he's got some good things coming up. Of course, you can hear me, 750 The Game, 3 to 6 on the Bald Face Truth with JC. I'm hosted on Tuesday, co-hosted with Judah on Tuesday. So if anyone wants to talk about some Blazers, call in 503-417-7575. You can call in, we'll get you on. We can talk some Blazers. So that'd be cool. But all right, yeah. So for myself, Steven Vaughan, that's Torey Jones. Thank you for listening. Do all you do, and come on, Blazers, do something.